Orthello is based on a book or play by Cinthio, an Italian writer, but it's transmogrified. Shakespeare's Orthello is transmogrified, and it deliberately has aspects of it which he probably drew from people of African descent that he met or had seen or knew in England, from his experiences of those Africans and other Africans that lived in Europe in various positions in society. And that's what informs the Orthello that we see. He's not subservient, he is troubled, he is problematic, but the history of the play means that it's often difficult for people of African descent now to gain ownership of him. He seems to be remote to us, but that's perhaps because we're alienated from 15th, 16th century European society anyway, not just because he is actually spiritually remote. We can't necessarily imagine an African with all the swash and buckle, the swashbuckle, a swordsman, a knight. We're still kind of alienated from that world because we've been brought up to be. We kind of think of it as a white world. And we think of perhaps Orthello as somehow a white actor always in blackface, not necessarily as an African being portrayed in the early days perhaps by a white actor in blackface. We tend to think of Orthello as part of a white imagination. So part of writing the play was to gain ownership of Orthello. So he wasn't just part of an imagination that was white, but he came from and represented an actual part of a history that's been hitherto denied, which is the African presence in Europe during the 15th and 16th century, and how these Africans, with the experiences that they had from West Africa, North Africa, Central Africa, etc., how these experiences informed and developed their character and enabled them, in fact, to rise into very important positions in Europe. So that's what the play's about. It's about gaining ownership again of Orthello. It's about reinventing Orthello, because once you've seen this play, you don't actually see the older Orthello in the same way in which you saw the older Orthello. It actually shapes your perspective of him and enables you to understand him more clearly. Africanus.